Hello, everyone. We're just going to give everyone a few minutes to trickle in. If in the meantime you feel comfortable and you want to turn on your cameras and say hello, feel free to, and then we'll dive in a few.
I'm seeing a few names I recognize.
Hey, Kathy. Hey, Ian. Hey, Yolanda.
Hi, how are you? Hi,
Good.
Cherie.
Hi.
Going.
For anyone who's just joining, we're going to get started in roughly 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Feel free to turn on your cameras if you'd like to say hello for now. And in about 3.5 minutes, we'll dive into our feature presentation. I'm making it sound way more exciting than it's going to be. It's just a
I was
bunch.
just saying that sounds ultra exciting.
We're actually just going to watch a movie. It's like Snow Day, where I'm like, oh, thanks everyone for coming. I'm going to put on A League of Their Own, and we're going to watch it again for the 10th time.
That's a good movie choice.
It is. I haven't seen it since I was a kid because we had this one teacher who just like, as a kid, we loved it. But in hindsight, I'm like, what was that teacher doing? He just put that movie on all the time. It's like math class or something. Makes no sense.
He had a crush on someone.
Yeah. Well, or just didn't want to teach. He's hungover.
My sister had she loved that movie so much. She was a little girl when it came out, and um she we got a cat, and so she immediately were like, "What do you want to name your cat?" She's, "I'm gonna name it Kit. What do you think?"
Duh. Kitten, cat. It's close.
Because the girl's name in the movie was Kit, so
Yeah. Ah, that's a good one. I need to rewatch that one. For anyone who just joined, hey Ishmael, hey Demir, Garrett, Gerald, John, Larry, Mai. We're gonna get started in about 2 minutes. If you want to turn on your cameras and say hello, feel free. Where is everyone calling in from? You could either drop it in the chat or you can just shout it out. I'm in New York City. I'm not in the office today. I'm working from home, so I'm in Manhattan, not Brooklyn. And Cherie, where are you?
I am in the middle of the woods in Missouri.
Sounds wonderful. I am looking forward. I'm going to the middle of the woods this weekend, and I cannot wait. In Connecticut, not Missouri, though.
We're over here in Washington State.
Who is that?
Amber.
Hey,
My
Amber.
camera's off. Hi.
Hi. Where in Washington are you?
We're in Sequim, Washington, Pacific Northwest.
Ah, beautiful. Are you on the water?
Yes.
I did a road trip up there years ago now, and I was just so blown away with the beauty and the size of the trees.
Yeah.
In the Northeast, we have like second and third growth. So the trees are huge in New England, but they are nothing compared to those because these have all been cut
Right.
down and harvested again.
Mhm.
I've been to Washington once. Tony Karias had a house there in Seabrook, which was just under, I think it's the Quinault Reservation, just a little bit south of Olympic National Park. And so we stayed there in his little beach cottage. So that was fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it up here. We like to go out and hike the trails. It's gorgeous.
In Missouri, you have to be super careful about ticks right now.
Do you guys have Lyme there as well? Is that
Um, They don't call it Lyme, they call it a Lyme-like disease, but my son has
oh yeah.
from tick bites, which made him allergic to anything that comes from a mammal. So be careful if you go in the woods.
Okay. So let's get this party started. So I'm Nicholas. I'm here from, oh, we still have some more people trickling in. They're not going to get to hear about where we're from. Sorry, I got like a lot of things bumping on this screen over here. So let me let these people in. and then I will get back to shouting. Yep. So I'm Nicholas from the Pictor team. I'm the founder of Pictor. A little bit about how we got here. So much like everyone here, I run a photo booth company. And often we were getting requests from our clients for things that the software that was available to us just couldn't do. So after years of saying no to folks, we started actually building our own software. So yeah, so that's kind of how we got here. So everything that you see today is going to be based on one of two things. One, our need for it, or two, our clients' need for it, right? And so there are a lot of times when we work with clients that they're going to ask for sort of a harebrained thing that from a human perspective is very easy to conceive, like, oh, just change the order that we asked for an email address to go before you take the photo. But because of the way that other softwares have been written, it's very linear. One of the things that I'm really excited about with Pictor, the way we built it, is we can really move everything around. And you'll see a little bit of that today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go from photo booth talk, from template to execution. So we're going to pass to Cherie in a moment, and she can give you a little bit of a lay of the land about what photo booth talk is for those of you who are not familiar with it. And because I'm going to be very screen focused, I'm not necessarily going to see the chats. So if I don't answer you right away, please don't take it personally. If you have a question that's about something that I'm doing on the screen, feel free to turn on your microphone and blurt it out. This is a creative session. I want you to get the most out of it. If it's something that is not directly related to what I'm literally working on, pin it, put it in the chat, and we're going to do about 30 minutes of Q&A at the end of this as well. So we'll go from there. So Cherie, if you want to take it away.
Sure. It says you have something in the waiting room, Zoom Scribe.
Yeah, it's a recorder. So I'm letting it hang out there because we're going to cut this and record it as well. So we'll put it up.
So do I need a screen share? Is that what I should be doing?
If you'd like to share your screen and share photo booth talk and give people a tour, that would be great.
Okay, give me just 1 second. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. This is Photo Booth Talk. We've been around for about 12 years with regard to doing templates. We used to be a forum, which is why we have our name. But as Facebook took over, the forum sort of disappeared. But we have been trying to keep up with this industry, and with all the AI stuff, that's been really interesting. But we have our marketplace, which that's where we offer our designs for individual purchase. But if you join as a member, it would allow you to download everything that we have with no additional charge. It's $199 a year or $119 for 6 months. And it's unlimited downloads. We do Photoshop and Canva, and we do have a large collection of other formats for darkroom booths, but that's a different story. So I am curious, Nicholas, with screens, do you, in Pictor, do you have custom screens as well?
Yeah, we have, you can globally set all of your styles for an event, and then you can go in and do every specific minute detail as well. So I hadn't thought of doing a start screen, but if you have a matching start screen, we could do that as well.
Okay, I don't have it today, but I was just curious
where it works and how it's set up, and we can go from there.
how it goes.
Cool.
So again, today we're working on trading cards, right? So we have a full collection, 5 different sets, one for Photoshop, one for Canva, and I think we're doing holographic today, right?
Yeah, let's do holographic. And before we get there, I'm going to ask a few questions just to get a lay of the land. Folks in here, if you could share with me, either in chat or blurting out, I probably should have set up a poll, but I didn't think of it until just now. Let me see if it's easy. No, I'll do that for next time. We'll have some polls ready. By show of hands or verbal audio noise, so I know, who here uses Photoshop to prepare their files? Is there anyone who does not? Yolanda, what do you use?
Canva.
Canva, great. Who else uses Canva around here? Cool. So I was talking with Cherie right before the call. Our editor that you're going to see looks a lot like Canva, but we're investigating, based on our conversation with Cherie, a possible import directly from Canva as well. So Cherie, one other thing I would like you to do to share with everyone, because I think it's one of the things that your site does best for us as a company, is your embeddable widget. I can show people how it looks on our site if you don't have a way to bring it up quickly. But what I love about that is we can share directly with our clients, and our clients can actually pick the item that they want us to customize for them. So sorry to put you on the spot, Cherie. I just want people to know how cool that feature
I'm
is.
trying to get back to sharing, and it gives me one participant can share at a time, so not sure.
I am not sure, but I will.
Oh, here it is. All right.
Got it. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So he was talking about our widget. And here's an example of it on our VIP page, if it will come up. It's embeddable, so you can place it in your own website. And we have all these different categories, so you can select the options that you want to offer to your client. I don't think I have it up here, but I even have a section for trading cards. So what basically, when you embed in your website, your customer can choose a design from our collections. And then once they've chosen their design, they would be able to fill out this form. And then it would email you all of that information that's in the form. We even have color pickers here. So when your client selects a design and they want to tell you what colors they want or the text, it's all saved for you in an email. But we also have a gallery dashboard that is customizable, so you can go back and you can customize all your buttons, those sorts of things. You can add custom questions. You can take out certain default questions that would be in here. You can add the ability for your clients to upload their own files. So if they've got a logo they want to include, or they want you to try to match a font from an invitation or something like that, they would be able to upload their own artwork. So it's all saved in one place. And then I can show you really quick what our gallery dashboard looks like.
And while she's pulling that up, so where this is really awesome is you would get that email and it's going to have all of the information you need to customize that. And that's where we would pick that up in Pictor. So once Cherie shows you this real quick, we'll dive into the holographic card.
So this is basically in the dashboard where all that data is saved. These are all sample submissions, so it's hard to know if someone's actually filled any like colors out. But if they add a color, the hex codes for those colors are all saved there. The text that they want to include is all saved. So that's where you would find all of that. You can create as many dashboard or many galleries as you want. So if you have multiple products, you can create a separate dashboard or a gallery for each one of those.
Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and steal the screen, Cherie, and we're going to start here real quickly. So as we discussed, or as Cherie said, we're going to go ahead and build this holographic experience together today. I'm going to presuppose you downloaded this to your computer. I have already prepped the files so that they're ready for us. But what I'm going to do now is just walk you through that prep real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and share Photoshop now. And when you open up one of the files from Photo Booth Talk, this is what it is going to look like. There's a bunch of different layers. Cherie has done a really great job with labeling, which is one of the things that I love about her site and her offerings. each layer has information about what's on it. So the first thing we'll note here is that this does use 2 custom fonts. They happen to be, in this case, Google fonts, so we probably already have them in our system, but if we don't, I will show you how you would import them. So we're going to go ahead and hide that layer. And then we also have hide this group in the back. So this is giving you some information on where all the things are going to sit, the math, and then we'll hide that because that's where our person is going to come through. Okay. Also in the overlay group, we have a bunch of text. So I've gone ahead in the one that I have prepped for today, and I've removed the text so we can add it in. And I haven't done it with all the fields because we don't have time to program them all today together, but you'll see. So this is how I've prepped my file, and I've saved it out as a PNG, and I'm going to go back now into Pictor and start with that. So bouncing back over, nope, it's got to share the screen. Bouncing back over to Pictor. Let me go ahead. It's ready. I actually am going to sign out of the admin account and use a pro account so I don't accidentally show you any of the cool things that are coming, but also so that I have to work with the same limitations you have right now. So one of the other really cool things about Pictor is that, as I mentioned earlier, everything has been built based on what we've needed it out snapped over the past decade, right? So what I mean by that is there are things that the other software providers have that are really awesome. For example, Scratch and Win, it's one of my absolute favorite features. I don't know why more clients don't buy it, but in the last 10 years, maybe 5 people have done it. So we haven't rebuilt it. But what we have done is we've built ways to use third-party tools that actually are legally sound. So we have used the Scratch and Win within Pictor, but it's a third-party tool. That will be a whole other demo. But what I mean by that is all of these things are built and battle tested before they ever get put out and released. So I was talking about the beta account, which is what I use, which is what we battle tested out snap before releasing a feature to the full audience. So today we're going to go into events. I'm going to go ahead and create a new event. And for those of you who have accounts, you'll see that you have the option between simple and advanced. If you're using a free account, you don't actually have access to the account area, the advanced area. But you'll see in here, I'm going to go ahead and call this, we'll call it PBT trading card. I'm going to go ahead and create the event. And we have all the similar setups. So event name, client name, description, start and end dates, passwords, max number of sessions. So we have the ability to go for full virtual on these. And what I mean by that is you can use it on the end user's device. We've done some of these AI experiences for like 70,000, 80,000 people over the span of a week. And that gets very, very expensive, and between 10 and 25 cents a piece. So if you are doing something and it does go viral, great, that's amazing. But we do have protections in here where you can put in the max number of sessions. So going into the next area, I'm going to not focus on these different flow stages today. I'm going to build the template, and then if we have time together, I'll go back and show you more of those flow stages. This is going to be a weekly demo, and each week on Wednesdays, we're going to focus on one part of the app. So if there are things that you're very curious about, we'd love to hear that from you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and choose experience, and I'm going to go ahead and add a template. We're going to start with a new template. And it's going to be 5:7 ratio. So we have all of these most common ratios here on the left side. And you can also go full custom. So we've had clients that want things that are very good shape, and this way we're able to manage that. So go 5:7, and I keep having people jump into the waiting room, so excuse me if I dip out to let them in. And first thing we're going to do is add an image. So we have.
Do you want me to add them if I see them pop up? I keep.
That would be great.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Cherie. So one of the things that's also really neat is we have full access to Unsplash's image library. So if you ever do need any kind of key art or anything like that, it's there, or you can manually upload. So we have a file system here where you can create your sort of, we call them PBO, but like photo booth company owner file system, where you could have all of your basic templates that you can keep those and you can access them on different events. But for here today, we're just going to use the PBT trading card. I'm opening in a modal, so you may not see it on my desktop. The trading card, and now you see it here. And note that this does not have any of the text that we removed, so we're going to put that in together in a moment. Similar to any other tool, if you hit on the bottom, it will keep the ratio proper. So this slightly off. I may have pulled the one that has crop marks. So we're going to go a little larger, but you'll get the idea. Okay, cool. So I'm going to call this PBT trading card. And I'm a frequent saver because I'm a frequent accidental tab closer as well. So I like to save a lot. So first thing first, we're going to add what we call a capture. So on the left here, we have a large capture area and a smaller capture on the right. What we can do is, I'll show you how we can put the first capture. We're going to do the IRL photo in the circle on the back, and then we'll do the AI photo on the left-hand side. And also one other thing to note is we are known as the industry in AI for photo booths, but we can also do non-AI captures as well, as you're going to see today. So you could do 2 non-AI photo captures here. So we'll pull this. And one of the other really cool features I love is we have the ability to add border radiuses. So I'm going to max this out at 500. So we get a circle here. And then I can resize by holding down Shift. And I can be a little bit sloppy because we're actually going to move this to the back layer in a moment. But you'll see on the left, and as we work through here, it's very similar to a Canva. Next, I'm going to take this capture. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to move that capture behind, and I'm going to lock this top layer. We also have Command Z available to you. So, and also up here, you can do manual Command Z. I'm going to lock this top layer. I'm going to select this bottom layer. I'm going to go to my settings for this image, and I'm going to add an AI filter. I'm going to select my prompt. You can access your custom prompts here or your global prompts. I'm going to do baseball. I'm going to, in this case, select 1 output. And I'm going to go ahead and change the ratio of this because it's a 3:4, I believe. Pull this out here. And it's actually going to be, I think, 4:5. No, it's okay.
I think it's 3:2.
3:2.
Try that. I mean, it is half the.
That makes sense.
No, it's going to be 5:7 because it's 1/4 of a 5:7 or half of a 5:7.
Ah, look at that. You're right. Okay. So we're going to drop this in. Once again, we can go a little bit sloppy on the placement. If I was doing this in a non-demo, I would be a little bit more anal about it, but here we go. So quite simply, we're ready now if we wanted to test this with just photos. So we have our capture, and then we have our AI output on the left. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Whoops, I'm going to save changes, not save as. And now we're going to start putting our text in. So going back from the template, I'm going to look at the template in my other screen. So you're just going to have to trust me here. But the font names were Bebas New, which I'm fairly certain we do have. So let's go and check. We have a zillion fonts in here. And you can also, if you ever need to upload a custom font. So let's check Bebas. Yep. So we have Bebas New. And then the other one was Josephine. We got both of them. Cool. So we're going to start with Babus because we want that to be a little bit more of a honkin' font. So you'd be able to match this directly from the template.
I love that you can add custom fonts.
Thank you. And I have this here just so we can kind of reference it as we go through. And we see the top here is black and under that is white. So these don't have to match exactly. You have creative control, one of the things that I love about this. And I'm going to go ahead and select this. And actually that text looks like it's the perfect size here already. If you were to pull with the bottom, it's going to change your text size. If you pull here, it changes your window size. So we want to let this open up to almost fill up that whole area. I'm going to go ahead and now duplicate this because we want essentially the same sizing. We may come down a few, but clearly we don't want black on black. So I'm going to go ahead here and change that to white or any other color we wanted, purple, pink, etc. Change that to white. And I am going to come down in size because that bottom one looks a little bit smaller. And sorry, I get anal about this stuff. For the sake of the demo, I should just let it be, but here we go.
Sorry, can you select 2 layers of text at the same time to align them?
Yes, you can. Or yes, you should be able to. Yes, I have a bug ticket to put in right after we get off the call, but yes, you should be able to. And then referencing also this side here, we have number 15, first name, last name. So what do we have here? First name, last name. Okay, what I'm going to do is just simplify this for the sake of it. And I'm going to do, let's put this here, first name, last name. And then we'll call this team name. And then I'm going to dupe this again, bring it up to the top. I'm going to come and change this to white again. And instead of putting these on 2 different layers for the sake of time. So you could fully customize this. So you did have the first name in one line, the second name in the other line, but each one of those needs to have a custom survey field. And actually you could do it. I'll show you. It's a little bit more complicated than I want to get into today, but you could take 2 tokens and stack them next to each other. So you could have the token for first name and the token for second name right after one another. So I'm going to do first name, last name here. I'll duplicate this again, and let's make this, oops. My Zoom window is making me select on things. What is going on here? Let's save this. I'm in some sort of Zoom sharing scenario where I'm highlighting things, and let me try unsharing real quick. I'm back in. This is very strange, everyone. Let me see my Zoom settings real quick here. Oh, I see why. Sorry, I'm blaming it on Zoom. It's because I locked the layer. So that was my dumb way of showing you that you could lock layers and not be able to move them and embarrass yourself in front of a lot of people. I'm going to go ahead and change that to black. And for these, I'm going to actually right align them. And let's duplicate this one more time down here. And then let's shrink this. And let's center align this one. Actually, you know what? We're going to center align all of these. I'm changing my mind. I blocked that one too. Okay. So in theory, every one of these fields could be custom text. I personally think from the event perspective, getting someone to fill out multiple fields is a lot to ask. Anyone who did this at PBX, we did 3 fields just so you could put in your photo booth company name and things like that. And even that gets to be kind of a lot for someone at the photo booth. I'm now going to go and show you how we can modify these with tokens. Anyone have any questions? No? Okay. If you do have questions and you're putting them in the chat, and Garrett, does that say you have a question? Oh, no, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Okay. If anyone has a question and I don't see it in the chat, feel free to turn on your mic and just ask it. So now I'm going to go save this and I'm going to add a survey. So in the survey, we need to ask for name, school name, and number. So we'll say full name. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Add a question, full name, character limit. I'm going to put this at 20, but I'll also show you how to figure out what that character limit is later. School name, put that at 20. And then number. And we'll put that at 2. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and go back now to my template. And so now that I've set this up with my text the way I want it to look, I'm going to go ahead and change these to tokens. So we have this icon here, which I am trying to figure out a better token icon for. It'll happen at some point, but that's our tokens. And I'm going to take that and replace it with full name. And I'm going to go into this and delete that. So what I was saying before about stacking tokens is if I had done first name, last name, I could do first name and then immediately put the token for last name after a space. I'm going to go up to first name here and replace it with that same token. And do the same thing. And be careful not to, I deleted a curly bracket by accident. Don't do that or else you're not going to get a working token. And we're going to call this school name. And I'm going to replace that with the token as well. And then this is going to be replaced down here with favorite number. Okay. And I'm going to dupe this down here to put our team name back over here and go back to white. I inadvertently deleted it. Great. And I'm going to save my changes. Does anyone have any questions at this point? I know I just threw a lot at everyone.
That looked pretty simple.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you think so. I agree, but I'm very close to the product. It is very simple because it uses a lot of the same metaphor used to in other softwares or keyboard commands and things like that. So next we're going to save our changes. Presets first, or do they? Amber, the presets, and Yolanda, I'll see your question next. So the presets, there are no presets for tokens. You actually make them yourself. So one, here, I'll highlight one of these again. And with this token item, you'll see the survey question, full name, school name, favorite number, and that corresponds with the survey that we just created, full name, school name, favorite number. So let me just show you one more time. So if I were to just call this, I'm going to call this Amber and Yolanda's question, just so you can see where this pops up. And I'm going to save this, come back into the template, And now I can select this item. And we have your question there. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Cool. So yes, it is replacing input from the client in this case. We could also, if we wanted to, have text that is not input from the client. So we could just, let's say photobooth.com, company name. Also, the other time, if you ever want to figure out how bad you are at typing, just have a bunch of people watch you type. And I can make this now 20 because we don't want it, no, maybe 40 because we don't want it to take over, but we do want every card that goes out to have our logo on it. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to save these changes. And now we can actually go in and test this. So I'm going to use this, which is our simulator. So this simulates closest to what it's going to look like on a hardware device, a iOS or Android device. That's why it kind of looks like an iPad or a tablet. We haven't set up any of our specifics here. And what I mean by that is, sorry, I should say the aesthetics. And if we have time, I'll show you that. But I'm going to go ahead and take time to touch to start. I'm going to put in my full name. I'm going to put in my school name. That's where I went to school. I graduated in the class of 2000. And my favorite number, I'll put in 82. And this is a question because I didn't remove it. Client input. We're not going to see this anywhere in the output today. Go to next. I'm going to take my photo. Select my favorite color. And now finish. So this is going to loop back up to the top. Next, we can come back over here. Whoops, make sure. Ooh, I didn't save. We'll see what happens. I may have not. Oh, that should be fine because I think that was just after the token. We have our session count here. And this is where you can check on all of your AI or other composites. So the way a photo booth output works is if you think of like a diorama on its side, you have all the different layers. So we assemble that in real time. With AI, we have to send it to the cloud. And then once we have all the assets, we can press it down into that final file. So you're going to see that reporting here as well. So this has come back. We always say that it takes 30 to 90 seconds for AI. Our average is about 37 seconds, which you're seeing here, but here this was completed, the AI, in 17 seconds. So that's a pretty big deal. And now we can view it. My AI output, my card. I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new window just so I can zoom in on it. And you'll see the different parts. We have Nicholas Rhodes, Somers High School. We have our company name that was not a token. My name, Somers High School in 82. Everyone follow that? Anyone have questions?
Where did the favorite color, blue, come in? Or red?
Sorry, I'm not. Oh, gotcha. In the AI, by selecting the color, it changed my uniform. So we'll do another one in a moment and I'll choose a different color and you'll see.
Okay.
Cool. Who is that, by the way?
Ian.
Hey, Ian.
Hello.
We'll pop over here and I want to show you something else really, really cool that I love. And let's go back to the flow. And so this is kind of a vintagey card. Look, it looks like kind of 80s. So let's let's see if in the images here we have old paper. So let's find something that's like, how do you look? It's not quite what I'm looking for. Paper texture. Let's see what we got. One of these is close enough. So I'll do an exaggerated one just so you can see what I'm about to show you. So, cool. This one's good. So we just found this card in the attic. I'm going to do a designer no-no and just pull this across for now. And anyone who's a designer just shrieked in their head watching me do that. But we have blend modes here. And what I can do is change the opacity, not the opacity, but the blend mode itself. So now I'm actually adding texture onto the card itself.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's something they don't have in Canva.
Right. And this is something that I used to painstakingly do with Photoshop files because transparency is different than or the level of transparency or opacity, I should say, is different. So one of the things that I love doing is making old crispy black and white photo strips this way, because we can just put this texture right on top of any photo that comes through, instead of going through and cutting out each of the dust spots and things like that, like you'd have to do in the other software. So I'm going to go ahead and put that to multiply. I'm going to go ahead and now just select my AI output again. And I'm going to scooch it over a little bit because I saw something I didn't like, but probably no one else noticed. It was just a placement thing. And I can go ahead and take that again. Let's go ahead and save this. And I want to make sure there's time for questions if people have them. If no one has questions, I'll keep showing you other cool stuff. So does anyone have a question that I haven't addressed yet? Ishmael, I see in the chat. Yes, there are. Ishmael asked, are there separate questions for AI and for surveys? Yes is the answer. A lot of the preset AI filters that we've created for folks have built-in questions to help create the output. So this one, for example, allows you to choose the color of your baseball player's uniform. And then we have the gender question to help make it look more like the person. And then those cannot be used as tokens within the actual event. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my name again. Take a photo. Ian, you're about to be on the spot. What color would you like me to choose this time?
Oh, orange.
Orange, you got it.
Thanks.
And that's going to go through. So while that's going through, what I'm going to do here is now show you guys quickly, unless people have questions on this, I'm going to show you how we can customize some of these colors in the interface itself. Does anyone have questions? No? Okay. So I have a plugin that I love, which I don't think you can see the way I'm sharing my screen, but it allows me to actually find a color on something. Do you guys see that? Do you see my color picker?
Yes.
Cool. I love this because now I can just quickly grab this color. I've copied it to my clipboard. I'm going to go back into Pictor and I'm going to start modifying. So we want the background of this entire experience to be that color. Whoops. Spoke too soon. Picker panel. I'm going to copy my color, paste it in here, save, and I'm just going to refresh this real quick so you can start to see how quickly these changes are going to happen. Ta-da. So that could be a graphic. You could also, if you want, just on your start screen, have a different graphic. While that's still rendering, I'm going to pull out one other color here. So let's say we want our buttons in this case to be want our buttons to be this gray. Now come back over here, go in, and we can change the button colors. Our primary button with the text color. And then the text color, I'm going to make this on the secondary buttons. I'm going to make this 100% white. So on our primary button, we're going to be gray. Whoops. We're going to be gray with white text, and our secondary button is going to be white with that gray text. We can also change the border radius. So if you want them square edge, round edge, pills, etc. You could even put borders on them. We have the ability to change modal colors. So I'm going to make some of these some real ugly colors for now, just so you can see where they're popping up. And let's go blue. And I'm going to put these at 50%. Oops. So you can see the transparencies in them. So this is going to be real ugly, but I just want you to see how quickly you can start changing things around here. So now you see our modal color, our background color, our button color. Whoops. Made these required, so I got to fill them all out. And all these different features are taking effect very quickly. And if for whatever reason you decided you wanted the button on, say, your survey to be a different color, you can do that very easily for just the survey. This goes under the category of, I don't know why you'd want it, but we definitely have clients who have insisted that buttons have to be different colors. And historically, we haven't been able to do it. So now we have that feature, so you can go real global on styles, and then you can go super minutia. So now you've seen I've changed that color on that button, and it's only going to be in the surveys different color. So now we'll get back over to our output, and we'll see how Ian's request for orange has changed our output. Ta-da. So here's my orange player. We do have the ability to export or to have a gallery without this image or with this image. I'm going to go ahead and open this image up so we can zoom in on it nicely. And you'll see that texture that I was talking about coming through. Does everyone see what I mean with that? So if you had taken the time to go into like Adobe Stock or something like that and really found the right texture, you would upload it, drop it over, and just change the transparency very quickly. Cool. So that's kind of the end of what I have prepared. But one of the things that has been really fun for me is having people ask questions about, can you do this with the software? And me showing them how we can, or putting it on the feature request list. Is there anything that you've seen today that you have questions about? Let's start there. I want to make sure we answer all those questions.
I do.
Yeah, go on, Cherie.
With the trading cards, we're printing 5.5 or 5 by 3.5, but you set it up as a 5 by 7.
Yep.
So can you explain when you get to the printing process how that's changed?
100%. So in this case, they're the same ratio. So it wouldn't matter the output because you just do that in your printer settings, but you could go into, where do I have to go? You got to go back here, go into event name, flow, and let's go ahead and add a new template.
I saw there was a custom option. Is that what you would do?
Yes, exactly. So you can put in, this is by pixels. So you can put in the ratio you want of anything. So for example, like we had someone who wanted to do like an old web banner kind of style. So you can even do this, and you could, for example, let me show you real quick. So this doesn't answer the printer question specifically, but I'm showing custom sizes. So to answer Cherie's question, 5 by 7 is the same ratio as the 3 by 5. So in your printer settings, you could do that, or you could set it up as a 3 by 5. But since we're actually going by pixel count, it's still the same ratios. And then in your printer settings, you would, on the 620, select the half cut. So there are a few different ways to do the printer outputs. I personally prefer the half cut on the 620 because you don't have to cut anything, fold it in the middle, and then if you're going to put it in a plastic case, it's perfect because it people can't tell that they're not put together. The other option is to do 2 4x6 prints, and then you glue them together, and then you die cut the 4x6. That's another option. So I'll show you this quickly because I think it's something that's pretty neat. So we can change the capture on this. Let's go 1:1. And I can drag this. And I can now duplicate it out. So I'm making essentially a photo strip. And something else that I love that we can do is I can say that I want only 2 captures on this. And what I mean by that is we're going to take 2 photos, and I'm not going to go all the way across here. We'll just do this. And I can now make this one come up as capture 1. So I'm going to do 2, 2, 2, 2, and then I can make these capture 1, capture 1 again. Is everyone following what I'm saying? Does the software allow for other languages? Yes and no. So one of the things that we've done for that is we actually have on almost every single flow stage, we call these flow stages. So we're building out a scenario where you can do like if and then. So if someone chooses baseball, you can have baseball card experiences. If someone chooses football, you can have football card experiences. And on each of these stages, you'll see we have recommended text, but you could very easily put this in another language, Roland. So everything has, like I said, recommended text, but almost every field is customizable. So instead of having like a translation mod, you can actually change the translations on a per flow stage basis. Does that answer your question, Roland?
Sorry, can you hear me?
I can now.
Yeah, so partly, what about the app experience? And the reason why I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and it's a bilingual city, so most of our clients are looking for experiences that allows for both English and French. So just checking to see if even from a track screen all the way through the flow, does your software also allow for switching to like a different language?
So yes and no. The easiest way to do that this moment is to have both text options, right? So I don't know how you say touch to start in French, but you could put French version. And then if I now save this, you would see that it is now technically bilingual. See?
Okay. Yeah.
So the next answer to that is it's on our roadmap to do those like if then. So you would be able to say you could have a, you know, a French or English button, and depending on how people choose, it'll put them down different experiences which can be built out in the different languages.
That would be super cool.
Cool. That brings us to something else really important, our feedback button. So one of the things, I mentioned this at the beginning, or for anyone who joined late, the reason we built Pictor is because I run a photo booth company like everyone here, and we had clients asking us for things repeatedly. And I was going to our favorite software providers and saying, hey, we really need this. And they kept telling me that I didn't need it. And it was very frustrating because we were losing deals to these amazing opportunities and we weren't being heard. So something that's really important to us is Pictor is built based on my experience doing thousands of events a year. And we've designed it to really help photo booth companies work easier and quicker too. So there's lots of quality of life things for training staff, for activating at an event, all these little things that when you get to an event and you're like, oh, every time I launch X software, I'm annoyed by this thing because it's one more step. So we've cleaned out a lot of that. But where I'm going with this is that we have this request board here. I'm pointing to my screen, you can't see. We have this request board here, and that's what lets us know what you need. So Roland, please take a moment, hit this make suggestion and put that request in there. And we will, based on how many people upvote things, put things on our roadmap. as soon as possible. So think of our dev team as your dev team.
I have a question once you're done that.
Yeah, I'm gonna, before we go in, there's a few questions in the chat that I want to get to
Okay.
real quick, and then we'll go to you.
Yep.
We have 5 minutes left. I can go over about 15 minutes. For anyone who wants to hang, please do. Amit, yes, the color extension, and I can send this out in the recap. I think it's just literally called pick color from page. I'll send that out to everyone who joined the call. We'll save time here. Amber, I like the idea of non-AI with the trading cards. Our area is not very keen on AI yet, but I can see us this working for us. Would I just take out the AI questions? How would that look? Great question. I can show you very, very quickly how that would work. We'll go back into our template. And this is, as I mentioned earlier, people really know Pictor for our AI, but Outsnapped has been using Pictor almost exclusively for over a year now for almost all of our events. We've been battle testing all sorts of really cool features that you're going to start seeing coming out. And so to do that, I would go back to my layer. I'm going to select my capture. So the capture is what the AI is attached to. And I'm going to simply remove the AI filter. And now if I wanted to, I could add another capture. Settings, we're going to make that just do 3x4 real quick. I'm going to make this a little sloppy just to save time. And then I'm going to come back to my layers, select that capture layer and bring it all the way to the back. Also, if I wanted the same image on the front and the back, I could do that. So let me actually show you that because I think everyone can imagine taking two photos and they pop up here. This is a feature that I believe is unique to us, where I can select capture two. And in the settings, actually make this the same image as the back. So one other thing that I will point out is that we use the cloud rendering for our AI, but for our non-AI, you'll see this populate in real time, the preview. All right, I'm just gonna put some gobbledygook in here so we can. So it's just gonna take that one image. Oh, I guess we're taking two images, maybe because I set it up wrong. Oh, and then we have our fun zoom filters. While this is rendering out, I'm going to look at the next question. So this actually, I must have set it up wrong because we have the two different photos with this funny zoom filter with balloons. But here you'll see the first and the second outputs. I got a bunch of new messages here. Why don't we go to your question while I'm looking here?
Sorry, which question?
Did you have a question?
Yeah. Sorry. How far are we from cropping the AI image of a person's face and body to put it on a predetermined, like pre-uploaded background, not an AI background?
So if I'm understanding correctly, you create an AI output and then use background removal so that you have AI subject on non-AI background?
Correct. Yeah, my client wanted to have their own branded background with an AI generated person on it.
Yeah. Theoretically, we could do that. Let me think it through before I think the answer is we're not very far. The other answer is I've never done it, so I don't want to tell you you can do it.
Okay.
What I would love for you to do is put that request into the feedback, And I'll share this link with everyone in the chat because it's so helpful for us to know what those things are for you. Why can't I get to it? There it is. To know those things so we can prioritize them, because the way we're set up, it should be pretty easy to make that happen because we have all the functionalities. It just would be connecting two dots. And this is why my devs love me, because I'm like, no, this sounds easy. And they're like, yeah, it's 4 weeks worth of work. But yes, easy. So that is great to know. And I don't think we would be significantly far away from doing it if that is something that a lot of people wanted. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. And then I saw a question about joined kind of late, but what am I, quick question, is there a template for this? So in terms of the templates, today we work from Photo Booth Talk and we used an existing template and we built from there. So it really depends on your client needs. You would probably want to build a template that is your client's colors or any of those things. So you can go full custom, or you can use a photo booth template or there's any existing template that would work, excuse me, in Photoshop or Snappic or any of those other apps other than Darkroom, because they have their own setup, would work seamlessly in Pictor. Does that answer your question, Del? I'm going to assume yes. And Ahmed, I saw a question about maybe using negative prompts. What was the question? Or what were you? Cool, great, Del. Thank you for the feedback.
Hey, Nick, I think you missed a question. If you scroll up from Larry about using a QR code to pre-fill the inputs. I thought that was, yeah.
Great question. So going back over to that same spot, we have QR code, almost positive, pre-registration with QR code. So this is something that we have had people ask for. If this is something that would be helpful to you, please, please, please upvote it. It is on the roadmap. This is something that we use Snapped for different use cases and have in the past. For high volume events, it's great. We find that you do typically need another BA or someone at the front of the line helping people through that. But yes, what's on the roadmap, and please do upvote if it's important to you, is the ability to scan a QR code on your own device, have the survey or any of the other customization questions there, and then launch the experience on the photo booth itself. So you're not sitting there typing while the line is waiting. Does that answer your question, Larry?
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Cool. Is there any, can you tell us about the use case that you would be most excited about that for?
Well, I was thinking, at PBX, people were fat fingering their, their names in. It was taking quite some time. Like the delay wasn't the software delay, was us putting our information in. So
Exactly.
if you do have a high volume event, several hundred people, and in a 3-hour period, whatever the period is, right?
Yeah.
700 people, several hundred people that are in events. If you can cut down on the time frame that they're standing at the kiosk, I think. Yeah.
So this is not software related. This is just a workflow related thing that I've found over the year. At a low key event, one person, one photo booth is great. If you're trying to move people through at a convention or conference where you have hundreds of people you're trying to move through, person on the front of the line telling people exactly what's about to happen, passing that person off to the photo booth attendant. And then the most important person that no one ever thinks about is the third BA, who is in charge of grabbing the person from the photo booth immediately as soon as they're done. That person is more important for the time suck as well. But yeah, if you're going to do a QR code, I would also man the front of the line with someone who can get people set up while they're waiting in line. QR codes, I think, are one of the best inventions of modern time. People hate them, myself included. You need an incredible CTA. The other thing is building out a system that we've been testing where someone doesn't do the QR code, how can they interact, or if they've only filled out one question, but things are required. So there's a lot of edge cases with it, but it is on the roadmap.
Yeah, I agree. The additional VA is important. That makes sense.
Cool.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. Thanks.
Great. So we have about 5-10 more minutes. If anyone has any other questions, please do shout out. Ishmael, custom prompts. Yeah. So anyone who does have a pro account does have access to a custom AI prompt area where you can actually create a custom prompt. You've seen some here, but does anyone have any other questions? Because I don't want to leave anyone hanging. And if not, we can do a quick custom prompt together and then we'll wrap up. Anyone? Bueller? Cool. I'm going to call this PBT. And let's select image. I'm going to upload a test image. I'm on my desktop. And I'm going to find a funny photo of myself real quick. Where I do this? You'd think that I would know. Trying to get like one that's up close to my face. Here's a photo of me making a dumb face. Let's see what happens. And then I'll walk everyone through this. So I'm going to select my gender. Can someone just shout out an adjective? Yolanda, give me an adjective.
Go.
What is it?
Go.
Slow?
Go.
Go. That's not an adjective, that's a verb.
Oh.
Describe like a descriptor.
That was an action, yeah. Silly.
Silly? Perfect.
Yeah.
Silly. Subject. So we also have these like tool tips. So subject, a knight, fairy, queen, football player, politician, dancer. Anyone have a subject, Kathy?
How about a dancer?
You bet.
Like Mad Libs for AI.
Exactly. What kind of dancer, Kathy?
Ballet.
You got it. You should see my moves. Do you know a pose that a ballet dancer would be in?
I don't.
A
I don't
pirouette.
Does anyone know how to spell that?
I can Google.
Ballet. There we go. Okay, pirouette. Do we want to be on stage? Do we want to be in the studio? Set of Swan Lake. See what happens. Lighting, let's do theatrical. Style, dramatic. Anyone have a funny detail they want to throw in?
You're wearing a pink outfit.
Pink tutu?
Yeah, how do you spell it?
Definitely tutu, definitely.
I think it's TU.
Okay, here we go. And so as this is rendering, I do want to clarify that most of the prompts that we share for our clients and also within Pictor usually take 30 to 40 hours to make awesome. And what I mean by that is we're going to get something really fun immediately. But then once we get the aesthetic we want, then we have to start testing it on people of different shapes and sizes. And so what I mean by that is once I get this the way I like it, then I should upload a photo of a woman, of someone who is tall, someone who is of different skin tones. And you have to test all of those things until you get the proper output repeatedly. So getting something, going one-to-one, making one person look a specific way is very easy. Getting that same repeatable look on people of different shapes and sizes is where things get a lot harder. And also the patience of waiting for this to happen is taxing. So this is how I spend a lot of my time, is putting words into this seeing what happens, modifying and seeing what comes next. While we're waiting for this to come through, Ishmael, is this what you're asking, just to be sure when with custom AI prompts?
Yeah, because I always see people asking if they want to create something other than the prompts that are already in there. So
Yep.
I like how you broke it out because I think the other ones I've seen is just like a big text section.
Yep.
And people don't really know how to prompt things. And I think here you're kind of guiding people on how to create the prompt.
Yeah, and each one of these does have a tooltip, so it can give you examples of the kind of things you can put in here. Oh, there we go. There I am. And it's apparently very cold in that room. But what I mean by this is now you would have to now solve. It's like every one of these is a riddle where I would have to solve for removing the thing I don't want without causing something else. So this didn't end up being on a stage. So I'm going to change this to like set of Swan Lake on the stage at an opera house and see what happens. And let's just change this to green and see what happens here.
The tooltips are nice because the questions like style and lighting, those are things that I don't think all of us really think of.
Yep. And so one of the other things that I like that we've done here is with prompting, someone, Ahmed, I believe in the chat had mentioned negative prompting. There's a zillion ways to keep a lot of, so we've done the heavy lifting on making sure you don't get rated X stuff. And we've included all of the industry standard negative prompts, as well as a bunch of other negative prompts that we've found over time in there. So people don't have to worry about knowing how to do negative prompting. I want to be clear that you're not always going to get exactly what you want on the first round here. You may get things that are offensive, funny, all of the spectrum of AI. And that's where you have to spend time starting to really hone in on these things. There are times where I've nailed it on the first go and it just works for whatever reason. Other times it's pretty painstaking. A story that I share often so people can understand is, and sorry if you've heard this before, but we had a client who was releasing a product in the Bay Area. Oh, so there I am. So now we're starting to get the correct setting, the green, but now it has unfortunately like changed my body type. So you'd have to go in and work on those different poses and things like that. So let's change this from ballet dancer to tap dancer, tap dancing, and see what happens. And let's change this to green tuxedo. So we had this client who wanted us to change the color of the Golden Gate Bridge to their logo colors. And the dumb salesperson, this guy, was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then when we went in to start prompting, AI just, our engine kept being like, no, the Golden Gate Bridge is red. Like, I don't care what you tell us, the Golden Gate Bridge is red. So the way AI works, for those of you, this is like a big crash course, very high level. AI is trained on the entirety of the internet. The internet is a place where whoever yells the loudest is the truth, despite whether or not it is technically true. That's why there are lots of biases. That's why there's lots of unfortunate nudity, because the internet is comprised of more nudity than not nudity, things like that. So that's the data set. So in the example of the Golden Gate Bridge is red every single place they see it, period, end of story. And so that is going to override my request because its learning is just like, no, absolutely not. No matter what you say, the Golden Gate Bridge is red. So the way we had to figure out how to fix that was describe an architectural detail of the bridge and how it was set up on, the two slopes of the landscape without ever mentioning San Francisco or Golden Gate Bridge. We essentially had to like architecturally design the bridge and change the color of it without ever mentioning those to get it to look like the Golden Gate Bridge and be different colors. So you see how just a little tiny word here has changed everything. You also see the fun parts of AI where I have that cool shoe on my hand. So those are the things that you have to go through and really kind of keep cleaning up. So while this is very easy to use, it doesn't change the reality that prompting is not easy. So it's, like I said, very easy to get something fun and cool right out of the gate, but it gets trickier to get exactly what you want. So let's take out the word silly and let's do and let's do yeah, let's keep it as, or yeah, let's let's change this to busking. And let's see what happens. So I think after one renders out, we'll call it a day unless anyone else has any other questions.
Just a really basic question, nothing about this AI, but in general, when you do face swaps, if you have like a face swap of a black model or a white model and you're the opposite, does it tend to take your face and put you in that ethnicity? Or like if the face swap reference is a black model and you're white, will the final product be your face on a black skin or white skin, like just with regular face
Yeah,
swap?
that's a great question. So we don't do face swapping because of that, right? Because like, yes, if you're swapping a face, you're literally just taking a face and plopping it on someone else. I can't get too into the depth of how our engine works because it is patent pending, but we use multiple rounds of AI to determine the shape and size of the person. And then it's a full generative experience where everything is generated. We are not swapping just face to body.
Okay.
There are times where that makes sense. So like we had a client where we were swapping faces into pre-existing pieces of artwork. Sure, Mona Lisa is always Mona Lisa color. And like people don't get offended by that because you're literally swapping something into a pre-existing piece of IP, right? Like if you were to become a Simpsons character, you're going to be Simpsons yellow. Everyone is going to be Simpsons yellow, right?
So if you have a picture of Superman, white Superman, and a black person takes the photo, they're going to be their features on white Superman?
Correct, because a face swap is literally as it sounds.
Okay.
Right. There are ways around that. So one of the first projects that we worked on at OutSnapped was about, it was with SoFi, and they had done a bunch of internal research about AI, bringing it into their own workplace. And in doing so, they found that, as I mentioned, AI is biased. And when they put in the request to make an image of a rich person, 98.5% of the time, it came up as a middle-aged Patrick Bateman type white male. And they weren't happy about that because a lot of the, SoFi did a lot of work around making sure that they represented all shapes and sizes in their workforce. So they came to us to help retrain their internal model. And we did just that, right? We made it realer, or more like the reality that I would like to see, personally at least, like to see reflected, right? Which is actual what humanity looks like. So with that, in designing our platform, we have tried repeatedly to make sure that people of different shapes and sizes feel represented and feel like they look like themselves. So in order to do that, it is a little bit weird. We have the gender opportunity because it's a big paintbrush that allows us to get directly to a piece of data. But I do think it feels weird to start rating your skin color on a sliding scale and things like that. So I've seen other softwares handle that, where it's like, what's your ethnicity? And then it's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dark skinned are you? It's like a very strange experience. So by analyzing the person in the photo, are we 110% perfect? No, it's kind of impossible with the technology now. Are we 98% of the time right? Yes. And that is better than any of the other softwares that I've seen, honestly. So, and we're striving to get to 100%. So, and here is me busking on the subway platform. So you see how these things change the look and feel very quickly. But like I said, it's going to take you some time to really harness this. And I would, if you are going to play with it, I would suggest simple first and then start getting more advanced.
Do you think there will ever be a time when it can do like remove the background and you just get the person? Because like
Yeah.
you were saying, when you were trying to get the Golden Gate Bridge to be in their brand colors, it would be a lot easier if you could just.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So yes, based on the way it's working in my head is we would be able to literally use our same tool that we use for cutting people out that are not in AI to cut this person out of the AI output, for example. So there are times where you would still probably want it to create the background because that's going to inform the lighting. So for example, we'll just say foggy day in front of the Golden Gate Bridge, right? You're going to want that person to look like they're shot in a foggy day. So you'd create a foggy world, cut the person out, and then put it on the foggy background.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, yeah, it like there, you think that's on the roadmap of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely something that I can test immediately based on the back end that we have. But we'd need to add a front end to it, is essentially where we are on it.
Yeah.
And for
Well, like,
non-programming.
for instance, with the trading card that we did today, getting like very vintagey results with a modern design. And we had a like a green screen background for that particular template. And so with the ability to be able to keep that, but still have the person in AI on top of.
100%. Or that baseball player was designed to be sort of like a league of their own, kind of like vintagey. And you could do modern baseball. You could do a kaboom card. You could do any of these different things. So like here, we'll do one last one and then I'll let everyone go. So adjective, strong, baseball player, posing for headshot, home base, standing on home base. Let's see what happens. Stadium lighting with fill light on the face and rim lighting. Style dramatic or collectible card. Modern aesthetic. I have no idea what this is going to come out with, but one of the things that I like about AI is that me personally, I've been a photographer my whole life. I've been an aspiring painter and person who wants to be able to draw things. I can draw architecturally, but I can't draw a face for my life. I can't paint for my life. But with AI, if I can describe a thing, I can usually get exactly, over time, exactly the thing that's in my head. Cool. So once this pops up, I do have to go because I have a 1:30 meeting. But thank you all so much for coming. While this is wrapping up, I would love to hear what are things that you would like us to cover in future demos. Thank you, Larry, for coming. Thank you, Ian, for coming. Thank you, Yolanda, for coming. Thank you, Del. And thank you, Cherie, for co-hosting. I think it was really fun to have someone who has design aesthetic here with me and someone who's, you know, Cherie is someone I've known for a long time, but we use her templates all the time. So I always feel like I'm in constant communication with what Cherie's working on. And I think Cherie's also someone who gives it back a ton to the community. So if you're not a member of her community, I do suggest joining the Facebook group. And I find for us, it's a great tool. We do a ton of custom work at OutSnap, but for all of our private events, those are the libraries that our clients choose from. Ishmael, thank you. Kathy, is there something that you're curious about that we could cover next week?
No, I don't think so. I'm just kind of dipping my toes into this, so
Cool.
I'm definitely going to look at your software and see what it does.
What are you most excited about with the software?
I use PPU, so like you were saying, you have to pick the Asian, you have to pick male or female. I like how yours is set up.
Are you doing a lot of AI work?
Not really.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And are you using PPU for your non-AI stuff as well?
Yes,
What do you love about the platform?
about PPU.
Yeah.
I was using Darkroom before, and I just find that PPU is just easier.
Okay. What do you hate about the platform? If you feel comfortable saying.
Sure. That I can't edit in there like you could in Darkroom.
Gotcha. And when you say edit, do you mean the templates like we were doing
Yes.
here today? Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can do that here. How long does it typically take you to set up a template in PPU for like an AI experience?
See, I've only done it for a bridal show.
Well,
So we just used what they had available just because it was a last minute thing. So just to show them what they had.
got it. And would you say like a half hour, an hour shorter?
Probably a half hour.
Okay, cool. Let me show you one last thing while that's rendering out. Pick one of these prompts or pre-existing prompts, Kathy.
Let's do Rock and Roll Rebels.
Cool. I'm just going to put your client name here and we'll pretend it's today. Do you want to count from 10 to 0?
Sure.
Go for it. When you
10.
start.
9.
Okay, great. We're ready. We're done.
Wow.
So you could actually run this right now based on one of our presets. And each one of the presets also has all the colors and everything set up with them. And you can go in and also manually change the overlays, etc. So it's that simple. So each one of these presets has overlays, they have colors, they have backgrounds, start screens, etc. So that is, our tagline is effortlessly extraordinary, which is a mouthful, but it's also like our software is kind of a mouthful in the same way where our goal is to be able to do to have control over every detail, but also make it absolutely effortless to launch something incredible, right? So we're always trying to find sort of like the sweet spot between giving people all of the levers and also making it so you can launch something in 10 seconds, right? So, but I do urge you to try and play with some of those custom filters. So this guy's still going. We stumped it. So we may have to call it before we get to see this today, but I'll share it in the chat in the recap. But thank you everyone for coming. Really, really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me after this call, your email just asking you to rate kind of on a NPS score of smiley to not smiley. Please be honest. That's how we can make this better for everyone. We are going to start doing these every Wednesday, and we're going to try and cover new material each time because we do have new features dripping out almost every week. So something that I would really like to focus on is sort of our flow stages. That may be next week. Some of it may not sound super sexy, but just because it doesn't sound sexy doesn't mean that it's not really cool. So please, if you do have lunch break with us every Wednesday, that would be amazing because we'll get to show you some cool stuff. So
Are you keeping it on Wednesday or are you going back to Friday?
You know, we had a lot of feedback that Fridays were event days for people and people were getting ready for the weekend. So I think Wednesdays is a good day, a hump day. And I think Amber just made a joke that you either don't get a lunch break or I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's noon here. Yeah, so I think we're going to keep it on Wednesdays, but that's also, you know, whatever the community is best for the community, we will aim to do. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Awesome.
Having me today.
Sorry, what?
I said, thanks for having me today.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Changed in the 18 years I've been in this business. So yeah.
It's great to have you here, and it's great to be able to showcase how we can work together. And we look forward to seeing what everyone creates. That's sort of the other thing that I say ad nauseum, but it's so true. When someone posts something in our Facebook group of something that they made using our software, I get so excited. So please do share. We have 24/7 support in the bottom right corner of the chat of the app, and that feedback is invaluable to us. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.